You want me to put that on my todger?
This one's wife, the Queen of Cock Ups. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There are some people that think that this one's wife is some kind of evil Machiavellian, calculating plotter who has sought to bring about the destruction of the royal family and her own elevation to fame and fortune. I would like to think that more people have started to realise that she's far more haphazard than that, as a consequence of the education provided by my work, and also witnessing the actual evidence that demonstrates that she is haphazard. This one's wife, as a mid-range narcissist, does not know what she is. She does not know that she pursues the prime aims. Her narcissism tells her that she's doing something else. Her narcissism focuses on the moment. Now. Each second-to-second interaction, her narcissism is focused on that actual moment without consideration of the consequences of what will occur, given the way that she behaves. This is why we have seen so often instances of her collateral consequences, which has resulted in her growing unpopularity. She lacks the narcissistic ability to move in a way that not only avoids detection other than to the keenest eye, but also enables her to gain the prime aims without complication or consequence. Time and time again, we have seen the faux pas, the missteps, whether it, for instance, was what looked like her taking Archie for a walk, but many people concluded was actually a doll when she lived in Canada. Her narcissism told her, get out there, take this with you, make it look like you're a loving mum, walking the dogs as well, a kind animal lover, and of course ensure that the paparazzi have been tipped off, get some publicity. What her narcissism was actually saying was, do this, you'll gain fuel by way of the responses and assert control over the audience. What it wasn't thinking was, people are going to look at this and conclude you're carrying a doll. It'll make you look stupid, and it will add more credibility to those that maintain that either the children don't exist or that they were born from a surrogate and you don't know how to parent properly. We have seen time and time again where this one's wife has worn clothing, where her narcissism has told her in the moment, you look stunning, only for her to then be criticised. She has undertaken things such as, I'll walk through a car park and ensure that Backgrid are on hand to record this so that it ends up being publicised around the world. I'll get attention, and that'll show those royals who's number one. Her narcissism, of course, is making her think that, whilst what it's actually doing is saying, notify Backgrid, be photographed. This will then allow you to assert control over an audience and draw fuel by way of their responses. What it isn't considering is this. You're now going to be ridiculed for being photographed walking through a parking lot with a security guard. People find you preposterous. And you, undoubtedly, will be able to find time and time again instances of where this one's wife has done something, operating in the moment, and it's resulted in ridicule, contempt, dislike as a consequence of those ever-present collateral consequences. This perhaps has been demonstrated more than anything with regard to the absence of business acumen. A woman that decided to launch American Riviera Orchard with a stupid video and an Instagram landing page and nothing else, purely to try and overshadow Prince William, who then embarked upon sending jars of jam to people, many of whom didn't admit that they'd actually received it, which again caused many people to ridicule what she was doing, who then used that brand in an attempt to overshadow Catherine, Princess of Wales at Trooping the Colour by sending out dog biscuits and jam to Nacho Figueres and Delfino Blaquier, which then resulted in her getting the trademark application kiboshed, which meant that she also didn't have any products, that she launched it ahead of her cookery program, so that ultimately American Riviera Orchard ended up being buried in a shallow grave because it was completely useless. Ordinarily, you might think, well, you've learned from that mistake, that you didn't get American Riviera Orchard right, so, you are going to continue with a lifestyle brand. Okay, well, you've probably learned from your mistakes. So, you've plagiarized the logo from a town in Mallorca, resulting in adverse press. You've pinched the name which is utilized by at least 2 other businesses without checking first, which results in people criticizing you. Have you got any products to show us? Oh, you haven't, but you're launching the brand anyway. Right. How are you launching this brand? Slick advertising campaign, fantastic promotional campaign that's been devised by brilliant minds in an advertising and PR agency. What? You're going to sit in the garden and make it look like you're having a wee and do a video telling people about the launch of As Ever. Right. Okay. But are there any products that are available to buy? No? Right. Are there any products that we can see? No. Okay. Well, what else? Have you got some engagement with your audience? You're just going to keep doing stuff on Instagram. Right. Well, anyway, your cookery show's coming out, isn't it? Presumably you'll have all the products ready for then, won't you? No, you haven't. Right. Okay. And, well, your cookery show's bound to be a success that'll have people desiring the items. Oh, it's been roundly ridiculed by many people. Yeah. Okay. As described there, with her lifestyle brand, it once again demonstrates the necessity of trying to gain the prime aims in the instant, with the collateral consequences which makes her look haphazard and useless, that shows that she is a completely shit entrepreneur. Laughingly, she describes herself as a female founder, having not actually founded anything, demonstrating the delusion of this woman, and all of what I've explained demonstrates that she is the Queen of Cock Ups, but it continues, demonstrating that this narcissist never learns from what's happened before because of the compartmentalization of her narcissism and the absence of accountability. Victoria Ward reports in The Telegraph, the Duchess of Sussex has again been told to amend the trademark application for her As Ever lifestyle brand over a series of errors. Isn't she useless? This one's wife has been given 3 months to respond in order to avoid having to abandon her attempts to register the trademark. She has already been forced to rename the business because its original name, American Riviera Orchard, was reliant on a geographical location. The latest setback could delay the launch of the business, which the Duchess has announced is coming this spring, and which will sell items including edible flour sprinkles, dried biscuit mixes, teas, and a fruit spread. Official documents reveal the As Ever trademark application could not be verified because a statement confirming intent was left unsigned. I mean, seriously, how fucking useless is she? You know, if she had not ensnared that dim-witted ginger prince, she would just be a jobbing actress that very few of us had ever heard of. Unfortunately, she captured him with a spicy poontang, which means we have to suffer her appearing in the media on a regular basis, and that it has elevated her, sans mint, into a position whereby she thinks that she's something really special indeed. But if you can't even get the forms submitted, what does that tell us about the business itself? Various categories also needed updating, as they were considered indefinite or too broad, namely spoons for serving jams and fruit preserves, textile napkins, and crystallized sugar for decoration. Well, once again, this one's wife demonstrates what a useless individual she is. You would think, with the amount of money that she's got, and that the lawyers that she instructs, that everything would be done properly. But this woman could not run a piss-up in a brewery. She is so useless. It's an attempt at income generation, but it's not going to succeed. The fact is, she's not a businesswoman. Her narcissism tells her that she is, because she is deluded. She thinks that she's going to be like Gwyneth Paltrow or Martha Stewart. The reality is, she is just a jobbing actress who is the Queen of Cock Ups. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.